Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your financial market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Tuesday, the 21st of February, 2023, and there's a lot to talk about. But before I get too far, I promised I would do an individual stock report, and I've done one. Today's big event was in Walmart, so you can count on it. Trend and chart analysis. There'll be commentary from me. You're going to get price counts. That'll be in there. Weekly and daily charts, where I think you're going. Unfortunately, no seasonals, but we'll redo this ad for it. I'm going to cover all kinds of areas in these reports, so get ready for them. As a stock hits a big event, I'll probably come out and cover it on a regular basis for you. It's all part and parcel. It's included, obviously, in our paid subscriptions. You get a few views at my different reports if you're not with me on that matter. All you got to do is go to our website under the keyword research. It's there. At any point, you can move your cursor while we're playing this to the top. There'll be an icon that appears. Simply give it a click. It'll take you there. And if you have questions, you can always call my staff. They'll work with you on that. All right. So, you go away on a holiday, you come back and events change. The holiday being President's Day. It's not a worldwide holiday. It's our holiday. And what changed is over the weekend, traders started thinking, maybe the Fed is going to get a bit more aggressive. Today was the first day you break very hard, not even a remote attempt by the naysayers, and naysayers being the people that don't believe the Fed, to buy the market. Not in any manner. You had no big rally and then another failure late in the day. It was down. You had a little bit of short covering. That's it. In all fairness, it was an anemic stock volume day. And the reason it is the President's Day weekend, a lot of people take off the whole week, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But I think it's more than that. I think the markets got hit and hit hard. And now the markets are anticipating that if they don't see in the next round of reports, and I'm talking the ones at month end into the beginning of March when we get the new jobs data reports, and we're going to get CPI, everything again. Every month you go through this. If that is not showing weakness, you've tipped the Fed's hand. And come March, the Fed either goes a quarter or half a point, depending on how weak or strong those reports are. That's how I'm viewing it. Is the market coming to terms, if you watch the Fed Watch page at the CME Group, that there's 75 basis points more at least coming? Yes. Can that at least word fall off the cliff? It certainly could. You can go back to 2 if all of a sudden a major wobble were hitting the market. That's going to be the key. Has the labor market weakened? Don't know yet. None of the reports I'm seeing are pointing that to be the case yet. Has housing got hit? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, what is it, a year now where fewer homes are being sold? But if you look at it, you've got 2.9 months of housing inventory out there. You're not building a big inventory. All that's happening with housing is prices are coming down because a lot of people can't qualify for a 6.5% or more mortgage, roughly. 6.32, but what's the difference? That's one problem. But come the spring, families that want to move, they're going to. And as long as home prices don't collapse, there's a big difference. What are you going to do for rent? You think that these numbers, they're going to fall apart? Number 2, nobody talks about it. But a landlord has to pay real estate taxes. I don't know anywhere that real estate taxes are falling. Most places, I read papers from all over, people are complaining, we've got more going on. You think you're not going to see that in the South, in Florida, where they got to spend all this money on infrastructure? I lived in Miami. Try to drive on that highway at rush hour. It's an impossible task. You're talking an hour and a half drive to get anywhere. I know this firsthand. You always have to plan yourself around it. They need more help. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's got to be paid for in some manner. So as we come back and we take a look at the S&P, and this is a weekly chart of just closing prices. The bias is still up. We questioned together here last week, will the market make a run for the 18-week average of closes? It's at 39.81, let's call it and a half. You got today to 40.02. You're in the ballpark. I think you'd agree with that. The market is broken down hard. Last week, I was telling traders I thought the short side was the place to be when we had this big outside day down. And today, believe it or not, was the day I think that you saw a lot of short covering. I know you'll go, what? Well, you'll see why. Trend down, moving averages down. Remember, we just looked at that 39.80 level. Well, take a look here. The 200-week average comes in at 39.76. So we're starting to see on the weekly chart where the 18-week average is of just closing prices versus right here, they're getting close together. And this is all I had to see. You hit the Bollinger Band for the first time today. Are we embedded? The answer is no. I don't care if there's more gravy left on the table and you want to get super bearish. It's not what I teach. What I teach is the sell zone was in here, the outside day down under the 18-day average, and today was the final cover zone. That's how I'm looking at the market. Am I bullish? Absolutely not, but it's an oversold market. It's not embedded. What about in the NASDAQ? You're oversold here. So the market's in a downtrend. You're in a ballpark of support. Do I think professional traders go into oversold conditions? I don't. I think that there are filters. It doesn't have to be mine, but there are filters. They'll hit a market if they think the trend's locked in. This is a brand new downtrend. As I said, if you look at today's action, you didn't get the bounces today. Could it show up a day late because, again, it's a 4-day week? It could. We have to wait and see. Now, in the Dow, you got under the Bollinger Band. You're not embedded. What do I teach? Each time you're under or over a Bollinger Band, it's very short-lived. Do you disagree with that? Doesn't mean at one point it can't run like it does here. They will. And this could run to the downside. But playing for that one time, come on. I want to be at the other side of your bets. That's how they build Vegas. You don't play for that one time. In the Russell, oversold, coming down, looking right here at the same thing, the lower band. Let's see what that does for the market, but I see a problem there. Now, a market that is latched on to bearishness is crystal clear. It's all of the interest rate futures. This is called what? Gorilla glue trade. You've heard me say that over and over. Now, I thought the market would do a better job at first of holding here, and it did. You went 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. You finally fell under it, and now you're just letting go to the downside. Don't know where it's going to end. How's that for honesty? Same thing in the 10-year notes. They're just letting loose to the downside at this point. In the dollar index, until the red line closes under 79, it gets the boost from higher interest rates. We go higher. Europe's got to go higher. And that's going to be how this thing works out, in my opinion, at least. The target, again, the upper band, no magic here. Each time you've hit it, you've backed away. Do I think traders are getting super aggressive here? Yeah, I think they're buying the breaks, looking for that until they get a reading under 79. So I think they stay strong. And in the euro, you have a bearish embedded reading. So I think the pros are trying to sell short this. I was one of them over the weekend telling my clients that. And make a long story short, see this big move? We missed it by 1 full point. You think I wasn't aggravated all day? At least the clients were short if they were following my written updates, the S&P. Doesn't mean that they follow me, but that's what I have in writing that I told them to do. You're still embedded. I think the traders are going to try to sell short on the rallies. They'll get out if you get a reading over 21, and they'll still look for the lower Bollinger Band to come into play. In the British pound, you're void of anything to do. You have a higher high, a lower low. The market has been testing, and it's been doing this since February, the very beginning of the month, the 200-week average. Remember, the market got over this average back here, then it took time to come back down, and it's been playing with that back up to the 18-day average. Now, one of the things we keep knowing is the Bank of England, Mr. Bailey, keeps saying, hey, what? I don't know that we're going to go with more interest rate hikes. The economy is such, we don't know what we can do here. The advantage there, and Europe has one, is it's a mild winter. They got annihilated in all of Europe off of energy prices due to the Ukraine war. Well, now we are at February 21st. There's daylight. Now, they have to build their reserves all year long, but it's one thing to build at these prices, another when they were 80% higher. That's a much easier build. And if they're smart, they don't stop buying on the world markets. They don't stop from the US. You just keep going in, you fill your reserves because you don't know what next winter is going to hold. And you know that situation with Russia, it isn't going to change where you put your arm around him as a buddy, Putin, and say, we'll take your oil again. That isn't happening. Bitcoin. You're in a big resistance area right here. I saw that Coinbase came out with some earnings. They didn't look bad at all. So to me, it looked like a beat on that. Take a look at Brent versus WTI. This thing's accelerating. If it gets through 702, it keeps moving away from you. That's a big difference. But you're in a bearish trend in all these energies. You've got lower highs, lower lows. So Brent is staying stronger on a decline. It's not losing as much as the WTI. That's how the thing is spreading itself out. We, in our beautiful wisdom, are taking more oil out of our strategic reserve and throwing it on the market. I pray, the word is pray, that President Biden doesn't open his mouth and they start replacing the strategic reserves at some point. I think they can sell and buy at the same time. And you'll say, how can that be done? Why not? What they have to sell is because Congress mandated this a while ago. But that program is over. And he has said that at the $70 and under area, they're very interested. You're 76.13. We're not there yet. I'd love to get it there. I want America to be certain that we have all the oil in our reserves so we don't have to worry about anybody in the world. In gasoline, this exact action I've been hoping for. The market pulled away from these lows. Now it's just marking time. It's still in a bearish place. Why not? It's February 21st. Who's going riding all over the country? But as we get to the March period, you start, especially mid to later March, going, will the market wait that long? So keep your eyes on this, okay? It's figuring in right the way that I was talking on everything. And in nat gas, today I was sitting here talking to one of my people that are working with me right now in the office, and I'm going, I can't wait for my gas bill to drop. And it is. It dropped from last month, 10% this month. And I looked at each month. You know how they give you on your bill? Where's it going? Well, it's going like that. But look at these prices. This is phenomenal for people that use nat gas for other items. I realize you're going to tell me we don't want it. In Chicago, they're saying we got to go to electric stoves and so on. Can I ask you a question? If you have a chef stove, do you know of any electric chef stoves? I've never seen one. I'm not saying they're not out there. I haven't seen one. And that's interesting to me. How many restaurants do you think that use natural gas have electric stoves in place of them? So this all sounds great, but again, it's sort of like electric cars. They're coming. We're doing many things to make it happen. It doesn't happen overnight, and you're not getting away from natural gas overnight either. Please remember that. Keep in the back of your mind, as I said, I've got my special report on individual stock is Walmart this time. To get it, you got IraEpstein.com, and under research, you can also at any point move your cursor up here, give it a click, and of course, the old way, call my staff if you have an issue. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.